Good to see you again.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
We'll have a little handshake. Happy New Year to 2024. Relax. Busy first day back.
Well, today's your first day back.
First day back in the studio. Been away for about 10 days and sort of, sounds weird, but gone away I've gone away on an engineering job just to relax. With all like the craziness that goes into 7 studios. Going there, it's been like meditation in some respect. I've not thought about this at all. And I come back and it's just like, wow, yeah, we actually have this like epic place, and there's quite a lot to be done. I'm quite far behind on everything.
So just for fun, right? Because I've been thinking about this since the last time we had a chat. I was like, I know some interesting people, but you might be one of the most unusual people I've ever met. So the last time we did this, right? And you're like, yeah, I've done this, I did this, then I did this, then I did this, then I did this, then I did this, and I was like, there's a lot of right turns, there's a lot of angles in that journey. And, and they're all quite unusual. Every single step is like a genuinely unusual. Somebody would take that and have their whole life there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so just out of curiosity, do you enjoy talking about the journey?
I've never really spoke about it much. Like Ryan, obviously you know Ryan, my business partner, brother-in-law. He'll speak about my journey more than I don't know. I feel like it is. I've got quite an interesting story, but I mean, you're a humble guy, right? And yeah, I mean, I've not known you that long, but you're very humble. I feel like you've got a very interesting story as well, but I don't know. How do you tell your story in a modest way?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. Okay, so that's a different question, actually, because that's recognizing that you've got an amazing story, but you don't want to make, a fool of yourself or seem arrogant. Or that's different.
I think.
So that's different. So you do recognize that your journey is not a normal one.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So because you've just said, I just want an engineering job for a bit of meditation. Like, already that's unusual. That's an unusual thing to say. but just for fun, describe what that engineering job is.
So ships are made out of they're either a steel structure or a lot of yachts are made out of aluminium. And steel or aluminium in salt water, the salt water and the steel chemically reacts, which is corrosion. Mm-hmm. So I basically fit a system which is called impressed current cathodic protection. I mean, I was on ChatGPT, and I actually asked ChatGPT to describe ICCP systems to a golfer, and ChatGPT basically said a lot of golfers, they wear sun cream when they're playing out in the sun, and the cream deflects the UV from the sun, and that's essentially what an ICCP system does with electrical charge and salt cells in the ocean. So what this system does, going back to the system, in different areas in different oceans, you have different heat, different temperature, different salinity of water, and different salinity requires different amount of current to protect a ship's structure. So let's say you're up in the Pacific, might be a lot colder than the Red Sea. So what happens is you've got 2 reference cells which are constantly measuring the potential, which is how much salinity is in the water. And then that dictates how much current the system gives out. So we install these anodes, these cells, and these control panels, which are all basically run on 440 volts, and that impresses the current, and it's an automatic system. But every 5 years, a ship goes into a dry dock where the ship is lifted out onto blocks, and we go underneath it, and we check all the hull, and if they're not great, we take them out, put new ones in, and calibrate it and commission it.
Right. So you do this when it's out of the water.
Yeah.
So you're not all goggles and flippers and under the water with the sharks.
No, but there is scenarios where I've worked with divers all over the world. So let's say I'm in China, we could basically, if the system's like let's say the boat's gone into the water and it's not due to go into a dry dock for another 4 years. Okay, we need to get divers in.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been at the side of a dock in China with Chinese dive team, can't speak a word of English, trying to talk body language. I don't know how we do it, but so we can change the system by divers. What tends to happen a lot with ships as well is a ship has got loads of different tanks, and they can spread oil and they can spread water across the different tanks. So let's say you've got a container ship with all the different containers on and all the weight's on the front. They can shift water into a specific tank on the aft of the vessel, which keeps it neutral, right?
That makes sense.
So what we do is our systems are at the front as well on the bow, so we can trim a vessel and poke the nose out of the water, and we can jump over the sides on basic like rope access and climb down. So we trim the ship out of water, climb down on rope, and change the anodes that way. So that's sort of what I've done since I was 18 and been all over the world. That's nearly 80 odd countries. Just travel. Been jet lagged for about 10 years.
How many of you people are there out there in the world?
Because
it's got to be a fairly small world.
It's very niche, and the shipping industry is very, very small world. We constantly see like people we've met in the same industry but different department. Mm-hmm. So like you might get like there's loads of different systems on ships, and they have special crews that go around the world fixing them, service engineers. In the UK, there's about 7 of us. The manufacturer that I work for now are trying to get local agents in they've got them in China, Singapore, America. Bit of a nuisance for us because it means we don't get to travel anymore. Mm. But yeah, it's very niche. And I'm luckily enough, knew the right person who got me involved with the business. And yeah, like I said, lots and lots of intensive travel, lots of air miles. I mean, my record was 100 flights in, I think it was 2017. It was quite a lot of flights. Just ridiculous. I mean, getting back from the Bahamas a few days ago, that's what 26 hours to get back from the Bahamas. Because I had to go from one island to Nassau to London, and then the travel agent decided to book me a flight from London to Manchester, which was just an absolute logistical nightmare, really. I could have just gone the train. So yeah.
And that's what you do to meditate.
Yeah. Sounds like weird meditation now, right? But
so you act as a consultant, free agent kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm an approved engineer for a manufacturer who's self-employed. So they basically, don't get me wrong, if it wasn't for 7 Studios, I'd be in Greece now on another job. But I just sort of pick and choose now when I can, when I go. Let's say if there's a little job in the UK on a weekend, I've done a week here, I'll go down, do that. So yeah, self-employed, nice and easy. But yeah, when I say meditation, let's say here we're surrounded by people all day, every day. And for someone that spent 10 years in hotels on his own, being alone is just so like, I just love being alone. It seems so crazy because I've come across as a bit of an extrovert in certain parties and stuff, but I love being alone. I love being alone with my own thoughts in a hotel room, just like a padded room, and I've learned to enjoy my own company. Do you ever feel like that?
No.
No? Do you like to be surrounded by people? You're from a big family, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm from a big family, and I mean I'm quite quiet in a big group.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, I'm a fairly quiet human. So in a big group, I'm still quiet, but I like to be in that environment. Like I used to like going to Covent Garden and just sitting there having a cup of tea while the world's going mad around me. I like that.
Yeah.
But to be by myself alone, I'm like,
Where do you get your zen from?
Eh?
Where do you get your? I mean,
Peace.
peace. Yeah, where does your peace come from? Watching comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, watching comedy. Yeah, just have a nice quiet space. You know, you make a space between words and just climb up
Yeah,
into your own head and just sit there and just watch the world go by. You know, you can almost see the stream of consciousness in front of you.
yeah,
You know, you can see your conscience when you're, you know, you can see the actors and you're just sat back and watching, you know, because, you know, in your head, you're like, there's a couple of different players, you know, like you've got the part of you that's choosing what to do next. And then you've got that nag that's there going, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that, you look funny, you dress funny, you speak funny. Shut up, will you? Right? So you've got those two people.
yeah.
But then if you like sit further back, you're like, there's actually someone watching both of those players. You're like that, and that's kind of the seat I like to sit in.
Is it okay?
And like push a bit of distance between me and the rest of it. So all the decisions are being made over there, and I'm just sat a little bit further back, just cozy, quiet,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, but not alone's not my favourite. I'm a fairly social human being. I like to be near other people. Like I like spending time with my wife. Although, in fairness, me and my wife can sit together quietly, away from the world, like two chinchillas. And
Yeah.
just it's not like we'll go out in the evening, and it's not like I'm not an extrovert in that sense. Go out for a rave and all the rest. I'm not that kind of.
Yeah,
human.
no.
I like quiet, but I like quiet next to another quiet person. Like, so my best friends, my closest relationships are with people I can sit silently with for ages.
I think that's the sign of a good friendship, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without feeling awkward.
Yeah, there's two of those in my life, like friendships, and they go back away, but we can just sit in each other's company quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a blessing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've probably got about 2 or 3 people the same, and then there's certain people, and because I'm like, all right, so maybe about 5 years ago, and this is basically from traveling, is because I'd spend so much time alone, it became quite solitary and sort of, I was just so alone, and I'd basically be working with different, people from different countries, Germans, Chinese, Turkish people, and don't get me wrong, feel very cultured and grateful for it now, but I just forgot how to conversate. It was just so alone. It was just me, my phone, social media, and I'd come back and I just lost the art of conversation. So if you'd have asked me to do this 5 years ago, I'd have been like, I don't know what I'm going to be able to speak about, because I just felt like a loser. I know it sounds crazy.
That's interesting.
But my dad also worked in Afghanistan for 10 years, and he said the same. He said he felt quite alone and forgot the art of socialising and conversation. But I think I got to a certain age, started reading books, started watching certain people on YouTube, started going out more and learned how to conversate properly. Because I mean, 4 years ago, if someone said, would you rather go on a date or would you rather jump out of a plane, what would you be more nervous? I would say, I won't go on a date, I'm scared. Rather jump out of a plane on my own.
So not being skilled at conversation, right?
Yeah.
How did you connect that? How does that make you feel like a loser? How did you do that? Because I wouldn't say I was a skilled conversationalist, to be fair. I have some interesting thoughts, I think, you know.
I just couldn't keep a conversation flowing. I just had no people skills. I'm constantly spending 240, 220 days a year talking broken English to Chinese people and whatever, and we never have. We don't. It's not like I'd come back and I'm like, what do people even talk about? I don't. It's such a weird situation, and I know it might blow your mind, because to everyone that I meet now, I'm quite a confident person now, which something has changed, and I feel like I can matured into being able to have a conversation again. But But that period of being alone just wiped my confidence out, which is strange. Like I had some sort of conversation PTSD. It's weird. It was weird.
So I'm quite a quiet human, right? I don't tend to talk. Like, I just don't tend to talk, which is, I guess, some of my family members find that quite funny. Like, I can sit in a room and just listen.
Are you an observer, like an absorber? Sorry.
Yeah, I just enjoy it. I enjoy watching other people laugh. I enjoy, in little interactions. I enjoy these sorts of things. But I watch other people talk, and I'm like, I don't know how they're doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where it's coming from. Where do they get the idea for that next question?
Yeah.
And
where's it come from?
where does that bit come from? But so I see that, and I don't have that skill, right? So, but it's not. I don't not feel confident.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't have that skill, right? But then at the same time, saying that, when these networking rooms, like people go networking and all the rest of it, and you go there and everyone seems to know each other, right? That's a nice start.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you try and join a conversation and you say hello and you cheer, hello everyone. And then you sit there and in the middle of a sentence, you just feel really lonely. You're like, I'm mid-sentence. Why am I feeling lonely? Do you know what I mean? Look,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
so I do see that. That does happen.
Social events for me, like again, was my worst nightmare. And if I've been invited to a barbecue, have to be the first person there. I'd hate to be the guy who rocks up at 9:30 with his girlfriend and just rocks in, and everyone looks at the back gate and hey, he's on. Worst nightmare. Same, yeah. Just walking into bars, I'd be anxious walking to bars. I don't know. My confidence is getting better, and was like Stephen with 7 Studios, just constantly meeting new people, and which is great. Finally coming out of my shell a bit, but yeah, I don't know. Just that was one of the only negatives from doing a lot of travel on my own. Just became very, very used to my own company. But going back to what you said there about being in a room, you've got a talker and you've got like an observer, like someone that just takes it all in. I've noticed that the guy that always observes and doesn't speak is always the powerful man of the room.
I'll take that.
And the man who always speaks is the weakest in the room. And that's just from my observations and certain rooms I've been in. You always get that one guy who's always the successful man, and he's always the hardest one to talk to, and he's always one that's just, I don't know.
Yeah, my dad's like that.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like, he's a great big beast of a man.
Is he?
But he's
intimidating?
No, he's friendly.
But would I be intimidated by him?
He's just the biggest man in any room he walks into.
Like
it's interesting because he's a 70-year-old guy now, and I'm taller than he is.
Yeah.
But he just always seems, whichever room he's ever walked in, even if people are taller and bigger than him, he just seems like the biggest guy there.
Is he?
It's just, he has an aura about him.
Just that aura.
Yeah. He has an amazing energy. But he will sit quietly in a room and just watch. It's the same.
So you can, yeah.
But he raised me, and he had that whole thing of, nobody knows how stupid a camel is until he opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Easy, pops.
What? So your dad's obviously done a good job with you, right, raising you. But what 3 important factors would you pass on to your children that your father taught you? I quite question that.
That's a nice question.
I'm going to drink to that. While you're thinking away.
Be kind and be well-mannered. And you can have anything, pretty much. Be kind and be well-mannered. Those are the 2 most important things that you can... 2 most important things to strive for. Yeah. Those are a big deal.
Yeah, 2 very important factors that everyone needs, right?
Yeah.
No, I like that.
And look after your mum.
Look after your mum?
Yeah. So, like, that sort of... Now that I've got kids of my own, it's, you know, I'll leave the house and I'll say to them, like, say to my lad, like, make sure you look after your mum today. He's only 5. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
I don't know what you asked me to do. I got Lego in my mouth. But it's always my thing. Like,
Yeah.
And then I'll come home at the end of the day and I'm like, did you look after mummy today? And he'll be like, yeah, I did.
Did it?
You know, and it just like get it into his little head.
Bless
But,
him.
Yeah, that was. I remember when I was a kid. This is obviously a weird one, but I remember. I can't remember what the conversation was, or I obviously spoke back to my mum or something, and my dad didn't say, "Don't talk to your mum like that." He said, "Don't talk to my wife like that," and it was like, dude. I'm your son. I'm still in the family, right?
What?
But that energy shift of, you know, it was just a big man. And I was like, oh, easy.
Wow,
You know,
yeah.
and that shift, like,
The
it
psychological
became very protective. And you're like, oh, so there's a hierarchy here, you know, and it's,
Oh, wow.
it was very interesting. You know, I always
Yeah.
remember that.
That's I think everyone's like, a lot of men are not scared of many people apart from their own father, are they?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, the guy's 70 and I'm still like, not yet, not yet.
Yeah.
Like, come on. No, he's always, because I'm not particularly athletic either,
No.
you know, and Dad's, you know, he's a tank, but he's also an extraordinary sportsman.
Is he?
Yeah. So, you know, it's right for most people to be scared of that guy.
Wow.
You know? My brothers are the same. Actually, all of them, my brothers and sisters, they're all, you know, really, really capable athletes.
Wow. My dad actually said to me that his biggest regret in life is not seeing me go to university. I was like, oh, thanks, Dad. I was like, Dad, I'm not doing terrible. But yeah, just devastated that me or my sister didn't go to university. I mean, do you think
That's
university is not
interesting
for
one.
everyone, is it?
Well, I mean, I see it knocked a lot. And I obviously see the real value in it. But then, you know, working with some of the clients that I'm working with now, you know, especially some of the ones that are bringing education into a different space at a different speed, you know, is university the most relevant way of getting a high quality education anymore? Is that really the most relevant way to do it? I'm not sure. Right? It seems like a good way. I don't think it's the only way anymore. I don't think your journey, for example, would necessarily, at least on paper, have been improved by education.
No.
Right? And I don't think now, with the access that we have to information and the ability to structure it the way we want to structure it, stretch the way we want to stretch, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be the only way. It doesn't seem to be absolutely necessary. But at the same time, to be able to commit yourself to something for 3 years, to consistently show up,
And get the
there's-
workload done
there's something
says a
to it.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Especially at that age,
Yeah.
you know, to ask a kid, okay, you don't have to go to university, but do it yourself. You're like, it's not likely.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that. I think if I was going to go to university, I'd probably do. I mean, we went to watch this MP talk in Doncaster, and even one of the MPs said there's so many kids doing Mickey Mouse degrees. Mickey Mouse degree, like, I think if I was going to go and do a degree, it'd be marketing or something digital, something that you can use in every different industry.
So that's a practical reality. Right?
Yeah,
That's you wanting to have a solid foundational understanding in the thing that you're currently interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart way forward. Like, if I could have gone back, I don't think I would have studied law.
No.
No.
So what would you have studied?
I would have still, let's imagine, I would have still become a lawyer. I would probably have studied something like philosophy or psychology.
Yeah.
Because I was interested in that. I was genuinely interested in that. I just didn't know that was a reasonable pathway.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a reasonable pathway. You can study anything you want, do a 6-month conversion and be a lawyer. So
Again, psychology. It can be used in marketing. It can be used in, like, so we got co-working upstairs, right? Instead of saying sign up today, I've changed it to join the waiting list. That creates some sort of like urgency, like, whoa, waiting list. How come I've got to queue up to get an office space?
yeah,
Like, between me and you, there's 7 desks available, but people don't know that. And there's little psychological tricks you can do through a website which creates urgency and creates people's mind to think that they need to be in this studio, which is what we're doing now.
yeah,
So going back to that, like I said, psychology, great, great degrees, different ways you can use that one degree. If I go and do a construction degree, I'm going to end up on a construction site. It's sort of, you're limited to what you can do with it. But if I do a marketing degree, I can come work for your law firm and do marketing. I can come work for Seven Shoes. I can work remotely working for a company in Singapore.
yeah.
It's such a broad and degree, Joe. So that's what I'd probably do if I did have the patience to do a degree.
Yeah, I was just going to say, would you do it?
My dad did a degree at 44 years old. Went back and studied. But I don't think I would. I want to be the guy who can say, I'm a college dropout and I've done this and that. And no, do you know what? I would love to have a degree behind my belt and just.
So why then? Right?
Why would
because if you can achieve everything you've achieved, right, and reasonably say, like let's say measuring yourself against other people is a good marker. Probably isn't, to be fair. But let's say you can look at somebody else on your equivalent level and go, well, I couldn't have gone further with a degree, right? So if that's true, and I think it is true for your particular journey, if that is true, why would you want a degree under your belt as an achievement?
Just an achievement. Just like what you said. You've got to be a certain person to take 3 years, do all that work, get it done, and be committed and stuff.
See, the thing
Probably
is,
just to keep my dad off my back and just
did
say
you
that
ask your dad what it was like doing a degree at 45, or however old he was?
He just said, look, I've proved a point that anyone at any age can go back and study and get a degree. He says, I've done it.
Because I think it's easier.
You think?
I think it's easier because you're a rounded human being. You're not doing it because you're forced to do it. You're doing it
Because you want to
out
do
of
it.
enjoyment, out of
Yeah.
a recognition of, I actually want a solid world-class foundation. Let me go and get that, right? It's a different rationale for most students. Most students are, oh, this is the next step of the conveyor belt. I have to do this next thing. Rather than, ooh, isn't this a cracking opportunity? Let me just seize it with both hands. Whereas if you went back, if you go back as a student, you're doing it for a real reason. You've got an actual,
Yeah, I completely get what you're saying. Might have to look at this like some sort of night course or something. Do a marketing degree. That'd be quite cool. That you never know.
Because a lot of the journey is about, I just want to tick a box. I want to say I did it. I want to say I did it. Like the journey that I've been on. Like, I could have just carried on and doing mucking around, whatever I was doing. But I just had this. I want to be a lawyer. I want to scratch that itch.
You're gonna do it, yeah.
And you do that, and you're like, okay, what's the next? I want to make a partner.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Just personal challenges.
You already have it in your plan to build a world-class foundation. Why isn't that sufficient? No. There's a little target I want to hit. So you go hit that target. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, I got that.
You've done it, yeah.
Now what?
Personal, I think for me, going to university, you get loads of debt on your head. So I feel like I've done a degree in Dubai. I went over to Dubai, got paid peanuts to work for a golf magazine, learned how to write, to publish, to do digital, videography, photography, and basically journalism. So I got paid, literally, like I said, just enough to cover me rent over there. I was but every single day I was learning a new skill, and I left Dubai competent enough to set up my own golf brand, Axel Golf. And the skills I learned in Dubai at the golf magazine was also transferable to setting up 7 studios, doing our own branding, building our own website. Everything I'd learned is from that stint of working for peanuts in Dubai. But the way I saw it was, I'm working for peanuts, but I'm not in debt. I'm not getting 40 grand's worth of university debt, and I'm enjoying it, and I want to learn to do it, and I'm so focused, and I feel like I learned more in that short period of, let's say it was, I don't think, I was only with the company about 12 months, but I learned so much. Every single week I'd just learn copious amounts of new stuff. And that's why I believe this place it's helped build this place. Just even getting people in and interviewing them behind the cameras and just little things. So I've not got that debt. Yeah, I had a skint time in Dubai, but that's my university degree.
How long were you there?
So I worked with them for about a year. I then got to the point where I could not be skint anymore. So I took a break from the engineering work. But here's a funny one. So
How old are you?
me, I'm 28.
In that particular part of the story.
So
So you were 18 when you started the engineering thing.
Yeah.
What age were you when you took a break from the engineering thing?
So it was for about 6 years. So yeah, 2000, and I was 24. Yeah, I was 24. So I went over, I worked with them for a year, and then there was a tool shop right next to our office in what was the name of, I don't know where it was, but there was a tool shop, and one day on my break I went into this tool shop to see if I could build a bag of tools to go and do some engineering work. Because in Dubai, you've got Dubai Dry Dock World, which is one of the biggest shipyards in the world. You've got all the container terminals. So there's lots of... I was on marine traffic and out, which constantly ships coming in and out. I can get some work here. So I went in and looked at these tools on my dinner break. And I found like this outfit, some overalls, hard hat, work boots. The most cheapest work boots you could ever look. Like if I put them on, I looked like I was... just didn't know, have a clue what I was doing. And I got some tools, and I bought these tools, and I hid them in my car, in the back of my car in our work office. Nobody at work knew about what I'd done. So I got all these tools, and I started looking to try and get some like work that I could do on an evening. And and it got to the point where I'd leave work at 6 o'clock, and I'd drive straight to Dubai Dry Dock World and do some ship inspections at 6 o'clock. And I'd say to the superintendent, sorry, it's evening time, but with the weather, it's a bit better to do. I make some story up about the temperature being better for inspections on an evening, and this is why I'm late. And then I'd finish there at 10 o'clock, and I'd drive back home, get showered, and I'd be doing like days in a media centre, which was my degree. And then I'd go and do engineering work just to get my money up on an evening. And it was just crazy. And I was like, I can do this. I'm making it work. I'm making it work.
So how does an introvert with no conversational skills at 24 years old get a job, go from being an engineer to working in a golf magazine?
Because I used to love golf growing up. I'm sure I might have told you a story about the long drive.
Oh yeah, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'll repeat it again on here. But so I loved golf growing up. From being 11 years old, big golfer, love it. Played county boys, under 14s. Dad took me around the country. He even took me to America in 2009 to play in like an exchange sort of. Doncaster's got a sister town called Wilmington in South Carolina. We had like a little exchange. So a few guys from Doncaster went over, golf tournament. Anyway, loved golf. Got into a relationship before I went to Dubai, broke up with that girl. I can remember driving through my village where I grew up thinking, all right, I've just broke up with someone. What do I do now? What am I good at? What do I enjoy? Oh, I remember I actually used to play golf and I used to enjoy that. Straight to the golf club. Joined back up, got playing, entered this tournament, and ended up winning a long drive tournament after 3 months in Sheffield. And the people that put that tournament on was the golf magazine who I ended up working for. So, crazy story, I know. Well, I won the long drive, and the magazine sent me out to Dubai, business class flights, pretty much all inclusive, hospitality to the DP World Tour. Got to hit balls on the range with Rory McIlroy, and I just became good friends with the owner of the magazine. And I said, "Do you mind if I write some golf blogs in your magazine?" Always fancied my own sort of page in a magazine, just kind of review some golf clubs, kind of go out and review a course. And he's like, "If you want to do, yeah." Anyway, 2 weeks later, I'm in a conservatory in Manchester of the owner of this house, basically planning me to move over there and work for him full time on a very basic wage. I mean, I'm talking. I earn £2,000 a month, but I think my rent was about £1,200 a month. Then I had to get a car hire, which was about £300 a month for an i10, Hyundai i10, which is like a tin of beans on wheels. Fucking shocker. And by the time I'd paid like my bills and my phone, I think I had about 10 dirhams left, which couldn't even get you an ham sandwich on Uber Eats. But no, that's why we did the engineering stuff, and I made it work. So yeah, that was my little university instead of going to university.
So then, let's talk about Seven Studios. How did this come about? Whose brainchild is this?
I'm not going to take all the credit for that at all. So obviously, Ryan, brother-in-law. Oh, wait up. My phone's ringing. 2 seconds. Thought it might have been him. That'd have been crazy. So Ryan, my brother-in-law, who's sort of engaged with my sister, who's a very, very intelligent man. You know him. So I'd obviously come back from this bit of a creative background in Dubai. Love creative, love videography, love, filming and stuff. And my sister, she actually went to college to do design, and she works for a social media agency. And so we're both Smiths, Jordan Smith, Katie Smith. And she'd constantly send me messages saying, "Smith Bro Sis Limited." I'd say, Katie, 1, that name's horrendous. And 2, it's not going to happen. I says, but no, it will do. Well, one day we'll you're in the family barbecues and you're talking about ideas and stuff. And I said, I'd love to just have my own studio and creative studio where you can work photography and you can start brands. 7 o'clock one Saturday morning, Ryan rings me up. "Get out of bed now. Come to town. I've found a venue for this studio, and this is what we're going to do." And I came to look at it, and where we sat now was just completely bare brick, smashed up, everything. It was horrific. And I couldn't visualize it at all. Ryan's like, "Yeah, we'll put a wall in there. We'll do this, that, and that. You can have a set there. You have a set there." I'm just thinking, is he out of his mind? No idea how he's visualizing this. Put me in a golf course, I can visualize a big high draw golf shot, but I can't visualize how he's got this room laid out in his head. I said, yeah, I think you're right, Ryan. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Back of my mind, I'm just thinking, I'm just winging it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And when was that? About 7 months ago.
Okay.
So we can say we're still new, and now we're sat here. We've got all this tech, the mics used by Joe Rogan. I'd have never met you if it weren't for this, and we're constantly meeting people, and we've built a brand now, and we're looking at we've franchised it to another premises in Rotherham. So it's just like Smith Brosis Limited finally sort of came to life. And Ryan, obviously he's got a building company called Create, a great company. The guys are just attention to detail in the work, and brilliant team, did a great job. We had Lisa Hensby at Hensby Homes. She did the design of the studios. That's really exciting. And just seeing it progress and come to life, the building, from bare brick to just having everything in place is amazing, really.
So what are they both like shared workspaces, serviced offices with a central groovy podcast studio?
Yeah, so we know that co-working exists and it works. You know, there's a lot of them about, but we've created this co-working with a creative twist where people can go and work. They can then go and spend an hour doing some filming, whether they're doing a training course or filming a podcast or shooting some TikTok content or something. We're just like a space where you can do all that, and our people with office space in Rotherham can get discounted packages on the podcast space. So yeah, we're trying to build a community as well. Not just, we don't just want to come and take your money. We want your growth is just as important to us than it is to yourself. Like we want everyone to grow. We want to be able to put local talented people in Doncaster on the map in a positive way and spread some positivity around, because there's some talented people and some interesting people around that no one knows about. And we've just got this place where people can people just pop in with a camera now and again and just talk to me about ISO and shutter speeds, and I've got sometimes no idea what they're on about, but I'll sit and offer them a coffee and entertain it and just create some sort of synergy there. And that's what it's all about. And through collaboration the world's your oyster if you meet the right people. I mean, I said to you last time, if you can just surround yourself by 3 badass dudes, you can go a long way. And we've got a team here now. So there's me, there's Ryan. So my sister's involved, but she's got a bit of a backseat. Mike as well, who's based down in London, he's got his own data company, does a lot of work for Hyundai. Intelligent man.
That's the data guy.
Yeah. So he's like sorted all the franchise agreement and Rotherham out, and he's looking after the big stuff. It's all exciting. It's all super exciting. We're already looking for other buildings in other cities just to try and get our name out there as much as possible. I know we had one guy in earlier saying, "Walk before you can run," but we're so passionate about this concept, and there's just when you get that gut feeling that it's going to be good, we're just going to have to run with it.
It's got to be in every city. I think it's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea, and I'm surprised it didn't already exist 5 years ago. And this is, I suppose, the question is, what is it that we're going to do together?
Yeah.
What is it that we're going to create, and how much can you guys get involved? Because, when I say I don't do anything on the social media space, I mean almost nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't have a Facebook account. I don't literally have none of this stuff. So if I'm going from zero to hero, right, and you guys are holding my hand with it,
Yeah.
what's involved?
Well, the good thing about, obviously, like you said, you got no experience with social media. Well, 7 Studios has obviously got the capabilities to not only host you, record the footage, film the podcasts. We can also, as an extra, do the editing, whether it's a full YouTube footage or it's the editing of the audio only for Spotify, or we can use AI, artificial intelligence, to literally create singular clips which will automatically get B-roll and put the captions on for your social media, whether it's LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. So it's basically like an A to Z of you turning up, filming, we look after the editing, and then we can also, if we could build a brand for your podcast and create and manage your social media accounts if that's what you want it to do.
That is what I want you to do.
It comes at a cost, by all means. So in that respect, all you do is you turn up, you ask some badass questions, we handle the rest, and we say, "Hello, Azam, how does this look? And are you happy for it to go out at 3 p.m. today?" You send me a thumbs up. At 3:15, you sat there watching yourself just talk some cool stuff, and it's all done.
What's the turnaround time? So I turn up today. So the idea for this, I'm hoping, is weekly.
Yeah.
Right. So I turn up today, and when does it go out in the universe?
So, well, between me and you, we need to figure out what your accounts are and the passwords and stuff. But let's say now we've got 3 cameras. They're all 4K. I'd go and take them upstairs, download that footage. Because we're shooting in 4K, it's the big file sizes, so it takes a little bit of time. So I'd probably, before we leave tonight, that'd all get put onto a hard drive, and tomorrow I could come in here, edit the full podcast. That's done. And then I'd stick it into AI, let them create the clips. I'd ask it to create 7 clips. And I'd say, right, Azam, full video is going live on Monday. It's Friday now. Full video is going live on Monday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to put, let's say we put 3 clips out. We'll put 3 different clips out. We'll write all the captions for you as well. And it's all completely done. So we'd offer certain packages, which include a certain amount of hours recording, which include cameras, lighting, mics, mixers, all that sort of stuff. Editing and social media management, a full A to Z package. And that's what we'd sort of say. We'd have deadlines for each one. We'd have all your main videos would go out at specific times every week, because there's a lot of like people that are trust that they know at 8 p.m. they can on a Wednesday they can check out Azam's podcast, and they're strict with the timings. If you're late, you're gonna, your listeners are not gonna be happy.
Cool.
And you've got to listen to your listeners. Is that as weird as it sounds?
So glad you said that, because my plan was, because I see, you see, so here's an interesting thing, right? I look at comedians, right?
Yeah.
I watch a lot of comedians, right? And if I think I'm funny, right, I'll just watch Theo Von for 5 minutes.
Oh,
man.
man.
And then you just be like, all right.
God, that guy is
but that, so as amazing as he is, and I can watch him all day long, but you watch people like that and you're like, okay, I'm not going to try. I'm not even going to try to be funny, because I'm no way, I could not touch that, right? And the same thing with things like this. Like, you look at other people's, like what they do and how they do it, and you're like, oh, that doesn't inspire me. It's so good. Yeah, right? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're like,
God, his voice. Dry.
He's
My favorite type of weed is cocaine. Just like, what?
The dude's too funny.
Just says the most random, dry stuff.
But even people like that get people slagging them off.
You know what I mean?
And you're like, I'm not sure whether I've got a thick enough skin to read through comments, and people go, dude, I think you're a bit cross-eyed. You're like, oh, easy.
Yeah, slow down, boy.
Where'd that come from? Do you know what I mean? Like stuff like that, and you're like, I just can't. Yeah. So I thought I'd just create content and just ignore everyone. Apparently that's not a thing. You're saying listen to them. So I've got to read all of that, have I?
Well,
or you have to.
Because
who does that? Who does that reading?
Just listen to the positive stuff and block out the negative stuff. That's all you got to do. But you've got to know your audience. And in order to know your audience, you've got to listen to the feedback, because they're the ones that essentially, if you get this channel, YouTube channel, The Art of Law, up to a point where it's paying the bills, which is, believe me, it's doable. Your audience is paying your bills then. So you've got to give them what.
So then you've got to treat them with a bit of respect.
Rather
than they're not just observers, third-party observers. They're actually part of your team almost.
Yeah, you might come across a guest and you might think, my audience ain't gonna like that guy. I don't want to put him on my show. That's fair. You've got to think about your audience, because.
And that's an interesting one, considering I'm thinking about doing just business podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a few sociopaths on.
Well, you've got to. Audience. Figure out who your audience are, and figure out ways to make your show as, so they're constantly returning, because that's making you money.
See, so then this comes down to another thing, right? Is like, what is the value, right? What is the value in this? Because you can see freeform-ish podcasts, and you're like, okay, I enjoy it for its entertainment, right? And then you look at business podcasts, and you're like, okay, I enjoy it, but it's necessary from an educational point of view. Yeah. And then you're like, so then that's the question I'm now having to ask myself. Like, okay, I'm doing this for fun, but why? And you're like, why is anyone going to want to listen to that? What are you doing? What is it you're saying?
Yeah,
What have
yeah.
you investigated? What have you really asked? Nothing.
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
you're like, oh, easy.
Whoa.
So where is my where's, you know, and you're like, you just start, it's probably a good idea to ask that question earlier on
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than get 10 boring podcasts in.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, right, I haven't done that.
Well, that's you creating your audience. So if you say, right, I'm gonna get Bobby Lee, Theo Von on for my first few, I know it's gonna be a bit impossible that, like, but
That'd be awesome.
let's say, well, that way you're gonna create your audience. Your audience is gonna be hilarious people that love comedy and stuff. Whereas, I mean, I don't want to say any specific names, but you get some monotone, like boring, just and it's gonna appeal to certain people, but the audience that you're gonna attract is probably not the audience that you want to attract. So, yeah, depending on how you come across and how the show is and your guest, you're going to create your own audience depending on what you produce. But with us, luckily for you, you're not just sat in your conservatory. You've not just bought 2 mics off Amazon and filming it off your iPhone. You've got top gear. You've got us here to
that's
help
the
you to
thing, right?
produce and make this.
So this has
shit
been a
hot
long
show.
time coming, right? I've been thinking about this for a long time, right? And I looked around and I did some research and, you know, asked some people that already had podcasts. And I was like, so how does it, what is it this? And which mic should I get? And I'm like, do I really give a damn about any of this stuff? Like, am I really going to do it? All of this stuff and then set it all up. And I'm like, well, maybe I could. And then I was looking at who could produce, who's, you know, where who could edit this stuff properly. And so I went through quite a long process before I ended up here. And I'm like, okay, this feels a lot like, I resonate a lot with, I resonate really well with this space.
It's the golden ticket to the chocolate factory.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
But no, that is why we're here. So I always, whenever I see someone successful on like YouTube, I always look at the first video. I always go right back to the first video. It's like a weird thing.
I just want to know. I want to know what it looks like. I want to know how, because this is amazing now. Was it amazing then?
Yeah.
Was it amazing right at the start? Were you okay stumbling? Were you okay? Were you comfortable? Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like before you found your voice, before you found what was relevant, you know, before you found your groove, kind of, like, was it okay? Were you comfortable with that? It's a good question, and I keep saying to myself to be comfortable with it. You know, it won't be you. Won't be you. You won't fully settle until you've done it at least 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, if that's true, that's true. Then just relax with it, you know, and trust you guys to do some magic wizardry. Oh God, this guy's a goofball. Let me just figure this out. Poor geezer. You know what I mean?
But no, I think like I said to you, I'm excited. I'm excited for your you filming a series of stuff here, getting different guests in, and just seeing your show come to fruition. And I can only see it growing. And like I say,
man. Really look forward to
you've got a shit hot background and some really cool stuff to talk about. So I'm excited for you, man.
Cheers, Hermes. So out of curiosity, I'm here now in sunny Doncaster, but if I've got somebody that's closer to Rotherham, can I just use that studio?
100%.
And is that going to be true for all of the studios as you open them up? That you can just go
This
to
is
whichever
a great
one as long as you
question.
can book
Thank
it?
you for asking.
What?
Love that.
Thanks.
So yeah, if you're a member at a Fitness First gym and you're working away in Plymouth and you can use that Fitness First gym, it's a bit of a teach you how to suck eggs analogy, that I know it is, but yeah, same sort of thing with 7 Studios. So we're opening one in Rotherham. We're looking for a 3rd venue already. In 5 years, we want. Oh God, I shouldn't really say it, but we've done a plan, and in 5 years, we want to be overseas in specific countries. But yeah, sort of you can go to Rotherham, or it might be Sheffield next. Who knows? If you're a member,
So you get reciprocal use of all of the.
yeah.
Okay.
And obviously we've got a podcast studio here, which is we can change the set, but in Rotherham there's 2 sets. One set is like, you go into a fancy bar and you get like a raised sort of U-shaped bar booth.
Mm-hmm.
it's like that with like dark fabric all made. Oh man, it's amazing. It's so nice. I'm well excited for that. And then the other one's a bit more of a cozy, a bit of a 2-seater, just a chat. But eventually we want to be able to have like, let's say we've got Doncaster, Rotherham, Sheffield, across the 3 venues, every set will be different. So when you click onto 7studios.co.uk, you can literally click your venue, click your set, and then it's just like there's loads of different options then. So yeah, the answer to that is yeah. If you remember, you can use it at different venues, which will Rotherham is opening in February. So as of February, you can say, "Hey Jordan, fancy filming one at in this particular podcast A7 at Rotherham." So yeah, no problem, Azam. And we'll go down there. Nice big co-working space. You've seen our space upstairs. Have a cup of tea, relax,
really cool.
coffee, get inspired, film your stuff, and go home.
Groovy. So that's the 5-year master plan. Is
The 5-year
carry on city after city after city, and then overseas.
Yeah. We are looking at manufacturing a product, which I don't know if I've told you about. They're basically like pods that we can sell to events and exhibitors and hotels.
Ooh. Like this, like just one that you can click, clack, and open. Nice.
Yeah, boy.
That's a great idea.
We've got a prototype coming this year.
That's a great idea.
So let's say if Hilton ring us up and say we need like 5 pods manufacturing that we can pop up in the day, and they just pop it up, mics pop out, cameras, and then they've got loads of guests there. People might do it for weddings. Imagine that. Imagine your wedding day. Oh, can you sell us a podcast room, and all our wedding guests have to go in and answer a few questions. Like you go into Big Brother, and it'll say Amy hasn't had the Big Brother, and she's just out there crying. And imagine that at a wedding.
That's a brilliant idea.
A race course venue.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
So prototype is coming this year. For that's going to be super exciting. That could be the game changing.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So that's happening for events and stuff like that.
And that's later this year.
Yeah, that's in the pipeline. So we've got that. Rotherham to open in February. We want to hit certain targets and source our 3rd site by, which will essentially be like, I suppose it's year 2 by the end of the year. And then 2 years expansion around the UK. 5 years we want to be in Dubai. So Mike's Australian. I'm 2% from Dubai now because I lived there for like a few years. And I've also been in Miami. I'd love to have one in Oz, Dubai, Miami, London. If I could do that, don't get me wrong, it's a crazy dream, and that's why we've called it a dream instead of like a goal. But it's doable. Like I say, when you surround yourself by some badass mother, things are achievable. And with Mike and Ryan, just 2 very intelligent men there, and I'm just quite happy being the most unintelligent out of the 3 because I'm the one that gets to learn everything off them.
Well, go with humble rather than unintelligent. But no, that's definitely the right way around. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna learn and learn and learn and learn. And grow and grow. But yeah, no, those 2 are they're a force.
Yeah,
sure.
They are. But again, people will say, "Oh no, I feel left out. I don't feel intelligent." But I'm like, this is such a good experience.
That's the right way around, man. Because then you're just gonna. The other way around is, I want to be top dog, and then surround myself with divs instead, so I can still feel good.
Yeah,
That's got to be the only way to grow, is to surround yourself by people that are much, if not smarter, more experienced in their particular area. That's got to be the right way around.
Always.
Like the lawyers we're working with now, they've got 20 years on me, and they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
Are they?
Yeah, just an absolute pleasure to work with. Like the litigator that we're working with now, he's something else.
Yeah.
He's a genius. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Even playing golf growing up, I always wanted to play with a better golfer.
It just makes sense.
Just,
That's,
why do I
that's,
wanna play with someone who's
that's
shit?
what growth looks like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
So, just tell us a little bit about Action Coach today. Little plug for the Action
John.
Coach community, John. I mean, I don't really
Yeah,
know John,
John.
but here's a plug for John. You've just got back from there. I mean, I've never been, but just give us a little bit of a.
So today's it's a planning session. So it's you get a group of businesses in a room. You know, there's some good speakers, and you just go through. You know, what's the last 90 days done for you? What have you learned? You know, what are your wins? What have you learned? Opportunities, and then what's next? And then you plan out the next 90 days. You know, as though with the hoped ambition that you look at it as though consider the next 90 days to be the most important in your commercial career. What would you do? Right, if you were told these are the most important 90 days in your commercial career, and then approach your goals with that sort of mindset, then you're like, okay, cool. If that's true, what would I do? Right, and then you're like, okay, I'll do this, and then you've got to ask yourself some very real questions like, am I enough? Or am I the right person? Do I have what it takes to do the things that are necessary to achieve the things I want to achieve? Right? And so it's not, you don't have to be perfect. It's not, the idea isn't, am I the perfect human being? Like, am I enough to do what it takes to get the goal I want to get? And if you're not, then you have to ask yourself, okay, what's the difference between me and the me that's necessary to make these next moves? So then you end up looking at things like discipline, you know, ethics, all the rest of it. You're like, okay, how do I tweak these things? Like if I recognize in myself that I'm a little bit lazy, that means I need to do something about discipline, right? And then like I need to do something about motivation. I need to do something about this. And like if there's a skills gap, right? I need to up my game here. If there's like understanding the different levers to pull within a business, you're like, well, I've got the first idea. Well, then just learn, you know, like, and then you're like, okay, this is what I need to do. The next 90 days, if the most I get out of the next 90 days is that I'm the person I need to be for the 90 days after that and the next 20 years, that's a pretty good 90 days.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of, but yeah, I've known John for some time. I've known John, and he's been sort of cheerleading me setting up my own law firm for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know.
Just to go back, does he hold you accountable for the previous 90 days? So if you said in the previous 90 days of planning, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, do you come and say, okay, I've done that. And if you've not done a specific thing, do they say, well, why? Is it like, I can't imagine what it's like.
Not in the 90-day planning part, but in the actual coaching. So I do one-to-one coaching with John. You can do group coaching as well, but I've chosen to do the one-to-one coaching with him. And that part's a bit more like,
More brutal.
you know, yeah, it's you're paying.
Tough love.
You're paying for your own boss. Do you know what I mean? Like you've gone.
It's quite a crazy way to
You've
look
gone
at it.
through your whole career.
Yeah.
Just you're like, you know what? I don't want anyone looking over my shoulder. I don't want a master. Yeah. You start business. You're like, you know what? I might be a cracking lawyer, but I don't know a damn thing about business. You're like, can I pay you a fortune to be my master?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You're like, and he's like, what do you want to get out of this? And I said, and I had a little bit of think about it. And I said, I want you to treat this as if it's your business. And I'm the MD, but I don't know anything about business. So now you've got to teach me everything I need to know about being an MD, and then let me run. And he's like, all right, sounds like a hell of a job. But that's kind of the relationship that we have. And I mean, every time you sit with the guy, I mean, he's been doing it for a long time, but every time you sit with him, you learn something new, you grow. And it's just, you know, your day-to-day job's your day-to-day job, and you're brilliant at it, right? And that's fine. And you've spent however long you've spent honing your skills at that. But, and this is what I was saying to you before, like about get your star players in line. You know, you need legal, you need finance, you need these things around you. Coaching, you have to have a coach. You have to have somebody that's on you for marketing, without those star players, and obviously there'll be industry specific ones as well, but without those four at least, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like having a coach is essential. It's absolutely essential. I just can't do it without it. It's not a smart move to do
To
it
not have
without
one.
it.
Yeah.
Because he knows everything, or he knows enough about what it takes to make a business run well. Why not? Why wouldn't I use that guy?
Yeah.
Same way as accounts. I can muddle my way through accounts quite well. Why wouldn't I use a specialist who's done it all his life?
No brainer.
You know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing. Just get someone that specializes in that area.
Why set up your own podcast when you can come here?
Exactly. That, plug. But exactly
Plug.
right. Exactly right. I mean, why would I bother? Why would, if you're saying, like, you turn up, sit down, talk for a bit, then shove off.
Easy.
And then I'll take care of editing. I'll take care of making the shorts. I'll take care of the marketing. I'll take care of your social medias. I'll take care of the lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Can even do targeted ads if you say, right, I've got £100 budget this month to do targeted ads. This month I'm going to have this guest. I'm going to have this topic. So I want you to I want you to send targeted ads to people who you think are going to enjoy these shows. So it might be a certain age in certain cities, certain gender, certain this, that, and that, and basically get it right down to people who are interested in what you're speaking about. Then we'll just drip feed different bits of targeted ads and different shorts that we think are the best shorts, and just get a following. And that when you build a following on TikTok or Instagram, all you're doing is funneling them to YouTube, where the monetization starts. So just drip feed them to making money from different platforms, all to YouTube. Drip feed off my TikTok, drip feed them off Instagram, off Facebook. Get them all watching that full video on YouTube, and then it's red panty night. That's when you're making some dosh. That's the best way to describe it.
All right.
So yeah, you can do all that.
That'd be interesting. Be interesting to see what happens with this. Because like coming at it from zero, and like, I don't even know, when you say targeted ads, I'm like, I don't even know who I want to, like, because, and then it's not, then there's that insecurity thing coming back, right?
Yeah.
It's not humility, right?
Yeah.
It's not humility, it's insecurity of, who on earth is going to want to listen to this?
Yeah,
especially when you look at, because you compare yourself to the other podcasts that are out there, and you're like, there's real value there. Like, so then why am I doing it?
Yeah,
right? What's the point of me doing this when there's real value out there? Right? What's the point of me being a comedian? When there's genius out there? Like, well, shall I not do it then?
No,
like,
you can't. You can't be like that.
So then, but then it comes back to why then? So why am I doing it then? What's the point of it? Like, what is the point of it? Like, and then I look at, because when we first started, I was like, okay, because I know what made me start it, other than the fun of it. I wonder what happens next. Yeah. Other than that bit, you're like, I could sit and have some really amazing conversations. Not that I'm instigating those conversations, but that with a bit of security, the business owners I talk to say some extraordinary things.
And that's what you need to get filmed. When they do say extraordinary things, you've got to get them to elaborate on it. Because in your mind, you'll be thinking, this specific topic is going to create the best vertical shorts for Instagram or TikTok, and just keep feeding the flame, and just keep getting to elaborate on a specific. And you might say, can you just simplify what you've said and just try and repeat what you've said in different ways? Because I know my audience might understand it a bit better if you say it like this way. And just keep getting the best. Don't just change subject. If you think this is shit hot conversation, just branch off into, keep making that specific thing. Just elaborate on it basically. Because again, you'll just be thinking this is going to make a great clip for social media. And that'll come. Once you see all the clips, once you see everything, and you'll watch a couple back, and you'll watch it back and say, oh, I wish I'd have asked that. but that'll all come. You're not going to be an amazing interviewer from the off. I'm not saying you're terrible. You're good. You're good conversation. You ask good questions and stuff. But the more you watch yourself back, is you'll be the best podcaster you can possibly be.
So one question I was going to ask you.
Go on.
Right. Got a couple. But one that I was going to ask is, what happened to your golf brand?
My golf brand, Axel Golf. AxelGolf.com is still going. So we basically created airless vinyl shaft wraps for golf shafts for protection, personalisation, and just for a bit of fun, basically. So yeah, I've still got it, still going. Don't make thousands and thousands of pounds. It does sales every couple of days, but we have just upgraded actually, because the past 6 months it's been all the products was like in my spare room at home. So I'd get home, I'd have to package it all, send it out. Sometimes I'd be overseas, so I'd come home and all the orders were delayed. Customers were getting angry, and it were just, the logistics of it were just not great. But now I've got a fulfillment system in place where when an order comes through, the order goes direct to a fulfillment centre and they ship it direct to the customer, and they just charge me a fee now. So I'm literally just, so we got an order on Wednesday, and Thursday I got an email through saying, hey guys, I messed up this application because the shaft of my putter's all curved, which you're not meant to apply it to a curved putter. And I said, I checked his order number, and the order came through on Wednesday. Thursday morning, he sent me an email. It's been delivered. He's applied it. Granted, he's messed it up. I'm just like, wow, this fulfillment system we've got in place now is brilliant. Is amazing. And I don't have a cupboard full of packaging, stickers, printer label printers, and all that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, when you've got hundreds of orders and you're pressing that label printer and all these labels are coming out, it's a great feeling. And you're there on your phone going, whee, showing you, because obviously there's me, a guy, one of my good friends called Jack and Liam. It was 3 of us in that business. So we just need to, the thing is, with that business, it's quite hard to shoot content for it, because you need to be on it realistically, you need to be on a golf course. And to apply one takes quite a while, and you've got to take it off, put another one on. So in terms of getting content, it's quite difficult. But what we can do now, utilising 7, is we could probably sit there and create an organic looking ad using podcasting. So I could literally sit here with you and say, hey Azam, I've just got this product through from Axel Golf. It's basically a shaft wrap. I've applied it to my driver. It's cost me 20 quid, and it's changed the aesthetic of my driver, which I've had for 3 years and cost me £350. 20 quid, it's all red now, and I feel like I've got a new club for 20 quid. And guess what? In 6 months, when I've had enough of that colour, I can change it again. And I bought it from axelgolf.com for 20 quid. Boom. That little snippet, what I've just said there, I put it into my little AI opus, and I put some captions on it, and I'll post that on Axel Golf's Instagram, target it to people that are 20 to 35 males interested in golf, interested in personalisation. So that's a targeted ad. Anyone over 55, I wouldn't target it to, because they don't want to part with £5, never mind £20. There's some weird psychological ways. But I'll target that ad, and that just looks so organic, because it's like someone's mentioned it on a podcast. And it's like we've just found the snippet, turned it into an ad. They don't know that I own that business. You know what I mean? So we can use.
Well, they know now.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, they don't now. But that's what I'm saying. Look, podcast ads are huge now. There's so many people that are, and that's the thing that you can do is when you get this podcast up and running. I know one that's big into podcasting now it's like a beard trim. I think it's called it's something to do with like shaving, men shaving, and they basically target all the podcasters. So what they'll do is they'll say, "Oh, Azam, I've just got this beard trim." Same sort of thing. They just turn it all into ads all the time. So you'll see that big on social media. So what I'm saying is, someone might approach you in 6 months' time and say, "Azam, do you mind if you just shout our product out and the start of your video, we'll give you £500?" You'll say, "Yeah, okay, no problemo." And
Sounds good.
that's like, or so that's one way of advertising. Another way of advertising would be product placement. You could have a Diet Coke just sat there. You don't even speak about it, but it's in shot every podcast, every week, every month, which you might get 20 million views a year, and that Diet Coke's not changed. That's product placement. A bit like when you watch one of Guy Ritchie's movies, like Gentleman, I'll always zoom in onto a woman who's got a Louboutin shoe on. It's just product placement. They're not said, "Hey, I've got Louboutin shoes on." It's just, and even that film alone, that made $75 million of product placement, just zooming into certain brands and watches. You know, like you always see like a Rolex or an Omega or something on it, or a watch, just product placement. And when you get following, you can charge what you want for ads and that sort of stuff. And that's where you got to be looking. That's what you want to be looking at, that sort of stuff. So
yeah, that's looking at the podcast as a business.
Absolutely, yeah. That's having.
And I suppose that's the right way to start looking at it, I guess,
Yeah.
rather than just something to play with. To look at it as, treat it with a little bit more respect than just play.
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. Sometimes if you treat it as a business, it can sometimes take away the fun aspect.
Mm-hmm.
If you just treat it with the bit of a reverse psychology and just enjoy it and let the money come in, then that's where you want to be.
Like, what is it you're searching for? What's your dream? What's your vision? The business will have its own. But what's the plan? Do you just want squillions? Do you want a jet with spinning alloys?
No, I'm not bothered about being a billionaire.
What are you after?
Listen, I've been on super yachts the past year in Miami, and all I can see is rich people with nothing apart from money, just loneliness. And do you know what? All I ever wanted was growing up was a big brother. It sounds weird, I know, and I just never had that big brother. Like Ryan now is like my big brother, and I've been with certain like women who've got big families, and you said you're from a big family, right? And my sister left when I was 14-year-old. So, and my dad was in Afghanistan, and it was just me and my mum, so it was very quiet. And I'm like, I'd loved a big family. So, family's important. I'd love to have a few children, big family, and I'd love to just have a nice setup. Like it don't have to be a massive house, or somewhere with a bit of land, somewhere that we can have plenty of toys. I'm one of them guys that's like, men don't grow up; they just get bigger toys. So like, love motocross and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, money's important, but I'm not like, I need to be a billionaire. I do this because I like a challenge. I like things to. If I didn't have anything to think about, my mind would create its own problem. So I like to have different things and just be busy and fast paced and blah blah blah. But if we was going on the materialistic side of things, I'd love to have a place in Dubai and go back there and be like, wow, 10 years ago I was here, didn't have a pot to piss in, trying to find the bars where the happy hour was just to get a quick beer now and again. But to go back there, fully loaded, this is where I started, this is where I learned the skill. I've then developed that skill, and let's say I've sold a business, come back there. I'd love a property over there. That'd be great. But I mean, for me, the ultimate dream is to have a quite a big family of my own, property where there's a bit of space to have a bit of fun. But really, I'm not like, I've travelled the world. I've been to 85 countries. I don't say I want to go on 10 holidays a year. Sorry. I'm not that bothered about traveling anymore. I hate flying. I'm so claustrophobic now flying. I hate it. So just a really good setup in England. Okay, an apartment in Dubai or whatever, where we can go back and forth from now and again. I'm happy with that. I think I don't know. I'm not a massive. I mean, I've had nice cars. Like 6 months ago, I had a GLE, coupe, blacked out. It was one of the sexiest cars on the road. And now I've just got a transit van. I'm not bothered. I wear black every time. Every time you see me, I've got black on. I used to have the most electric clothes, brands of this. I don't care anymore because my image, like, I've just changed so much this past year. I used to be the materialistic guy that wanted, oh yeah, my dream's a Lamborghini and this, that, and that. And if I'm at peace, that is my dream, to be able to come home and feel at peace, because I've spent that much time on my own and I've dealt with severe anxiety over the past, to the point where I can't get out of bed and that sort of stuff. So peace is the new power for me. And
Do you have peace?
Hey?
Do you have peace?
No, yeah. I feel like I do have peace now, yeah. I feel like I'm changed. I feel like my outlook on life's changed. And
so then going back full circle, like when you asked me, like where do you get your zen? Where did you find peace?
Where do I find my peace? You know what? It sounds crazy, but just talking to you now, I'm at peace. Like that sounds weird, but I'm quite zen now. Quite like the outside world. Just I'm not thinking about anything now. I'm just me, my new mate having a chat. I find peace. I find peace with my girlfriend. I find just chatting away now. I find peace. I find it sounds so weird, but I find peace when I work away doing engineering jobs. I find peace when I play Call of Duty. I know I'm 28 and like video games should not be a thing anymore, but that's my peace. It's my zen. Ryan will back me up. He's the same. And when I play golf, so I've got like a few avenues of peace. I don't know. I think it's a tough one, peace, isn't it? But when I said to you, where do you find your zen? It's important. I think it's so important for men to have a space where they can be peaceful and reset and relax. Because as a man, you've got some tough tasks on your shoulders. And without resetting and being zen and finding these people whether it's people to surround yourself with and have a chat, or just a hobby, something to zen, you don't want to implode. As the guy on Wolf of Wall Street said, implosions are ugly. So, but yeah, going back to my dream, if I had just a good setup in the UK, where I've got an office, nice house, not amazing. I'm saying not amazing. A bit of an apartment in Dubai, I'd be happy with that.
How far away is it?
Where's what? Sorry.
How far away is it from happening? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years?
That particular life would be about. I'm 28 now, so by the time I'm 35, I'd like my own apartment in Dubai, and then a solid foundation here with good setup. I just went to look at a new place today, actually. It's quite nice. It was really nice, actually, but not like the dream pad, do you know what I mean? But it was a bit more of a bachelor pad, just up at Lakeside. It's pretty nice. But yeah, there's goals there, and I think, yeah, you could call them dream. I think a lot of them are achievable. When you write them down on paper, they are achievable.
Well, yeah, that's a lovely vision. It's not a million miles away from mine, to be fair.
No, yeah.
Mine's the same. I just want just a bit of land. Don't need a massive house.
Massive, no.
The land's more important, somewhere, but like a mini horse and a goat, let them wander around, let the kids chase after them.
Love
and play.
that.
Do you know what I mean?
Love that.
Just that's it. Somewhere to go for a wander. I went to somebody's house the other day. Where was it? Somewhere near Birmingham, to be fair. But like, we went for a walk in his garden. Do you know what I mean? After dinner, like, let's go out in the garden, and we just walked for a while. dude, where do you live? And like he had this extraordinary view over some hills, and it was gorgeous. And we walked for a while.
Yeah.
And then he had this pond and a little waterfall in his garden. I was, this is great. This is fine. This will do.
Yeah.
This is great.
That's what it's all about. Like, yeah, just having a bit of space. And I remember going round to like my friend's house who had horses and lived on a bit of a farm, and thinking, this is amazing. His dad built like a little BMX track, and like, I'd love to live on like a big farm conversion or something like that. Just with some space, have a few motorbikes and quads, and just play around, bit of a workshop with some tools in and snap-on kit, and just somewhere where your kids can have space to have fun. I think that's I don't know. Yeah, I mean, growing up, we had a good upbringing. To be honest, I'm not going to say I had a shit upbringing, because I didn't. I had a very, very lucky upbringing. We always used to live near the woods. We just go into the woods and build like rope swings, and such a good upbringing. But yeah, for my kids, I just want to give them the same. Just, nice space and something to keep them outdoors instead of being on TikTok. Don't get me wrong, go on TikTok if you're making a fortune doing it. But if you just sat there consuming all day, it's not going to happen on my watch. Get outside and go and build a den.
I had TikTok for an hour.
Did you?
And I was like, no, I can't do that. Because I've already watched every single video on YouTube.
Have you? Yeah.
So to then have TikTok, and you're like, but I tell you what, it does make me love people.
Yeah.
People are funny.
Yeah.
Just normal humans are just so funny. You're like, oh my God. The fact that someone would take the time to put this nonsense together, and you're like, I love it.
Yeah.
But no, an hour just disappeared too quickly. I was like, this will take my life away.
Yeah, it'll
So
consume your
I
life.
had to get rid of it.
I have a healthy relationship with it. I don't go on it at all, to be honest. So if someone sends me something, I'll click on it and I'll watch it, and I'll watch 3 of them and I'll say, right, that's me done. Because it'll just... But that is meditation. That's peace for a lot of people. Just being there, scrolling for 3 hours after work is some people's peace. And like, if that's your peace, fair play. I'm not going to knock your peace. If it keeps you peaceful, happy for you. Do your thing. I think it's a waste of time, but happy for you.
But I also somebody, like a therapist, might say it causes anxiety. That kind of immediate gratification, flick, 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 flick. Like, it's not a relaxed way to consume information. It's not a relaxed way to be
Stimulated, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Stimulated, that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a relaxed way to be stimulated.
No, I know what you're saying. We're a very fast-paced generation with nobody's got patience anymore. Nobody wants to watch a 3-minute video. I mean, today I received a 3-minute voicemail. Looked at that thinking, wow, that's so long. Why are you sending me a 3-minute voicemail? Voice note, on WhatsApp. We're just...
That person that sent you that note, they know it's them.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I'd say to him, like, why? Just please don't send me a 3-minute voice note. Love you to bits, but please just send me like a 10-second one summary. And I'm quite open and transparent with that. But we're a generation where we want to consume something in 4 seconds, and that's why when we do your sort of vertical shorts, first few seconds has to be gripping in order to watch the full 10 seconds. Otherwise, people just go bored. There's such a big competition of other people out there. You're gonna be an entertainment, right? It's gonna be a show, so it's gotta be entertaining. There's a lot of people out there doing it, but I do get zen on Instagram watching travel videos and stuff. I like that sort of stuff. And if you train your algorithm to exactly how you want it, then it can be quite educational as well. I see my little nephew making eggs a specific way, and I'll say, where have you learnt that? He'll say, TikTok. I'll say, my G. So there is a lot of educational stuff on there, and it is brilliant. And I was with Mum last night. She made this beautiful orzo pasta. You've had orzo pasta? It's basically pasta, which is about like the same size as rice, but a little bit bigger. So it's like, looks like rice, but it's pasta with some chicken and some like cheese. And I was like, Mum, this is unbelievable. where have you got this recipe? She's just like, gotta have TikTok. It's like, yes, mum. So people like TikTok now is at a point where people don't Google stuff anymore. They TikTok it seriously, and Netflix, their viewing's going down. So Netflix business is going down and down and down because people are just would rather spend 3 hours watching TikToks than watching 3 hours worth of docuseries. It's a crazy world, and you gotta stay fast paced with it, otherwise you're gonna get left behind. And that's why we keep saying to companies,
you stay fast paced with it,
yeah.
and I'll just come in, do my little bit, and then disappear again.
But yeah.